Okay, good day everyone. For today, I will be continuing the previous discussion for the digestive system of the pig. So last time I have stopped for this slide, the pancreas. So this is just a summary of the different enzymes that the pancreas produces it. So for example, I have included here the three basic nutrients that provide energy for our animals. So for the protein, so the pancreas releases here the trypsinogen. But then, as what I have said from my previous discussion, that when it comes that you can encounter a word that ends with OGEN, ibig sabihin this is inactive enzyme. Okay? So kailangan muna siyang ma-activate before it will become an active form of enzyme. So um once this trypsinogen is being produced by the pancreas, so this will be converted by the enterokinase. So again, this is an enzyme in the small intestine into its active form, which is the trypsin. So ang trypsin, it breaks down the polypeptides into small peptides. Again, another one is also the erepsins. So they help in breaking down the small peptides into amino acids. Then for the carbohydrates, we have here the pancreatic amylase and then the maltase. So you already know that for the pancreatic amylase, it finishes breaking down the starch into maltose. The maltase breaks down the maltose into two glucose molecules. Then for the lipids, the pancreatic lipase, it breaks down into triglycerides. And then the phospholipase, it breaks down phospholipids. So this is an actual image of the pancreas of the pig. Now, kapag ang partially digested food mula sa stomach ay pumasok na sa small intestine, lalo na sa first segment which is the duodenum, okay, nagsisimula ng maglabas yung intestinal lining ng small intestine, more specifically the duodenum, ng mga intestinal hormones o tinatawag din nating enteric hormones. So, ang mga hormones ang nagko-coordinate ng digestion sa in between the stomach, the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder para mas maging controlled tsaka efficient and safe yung process ng digestion and absorption. So here when it comes to the intestinal juices, there are three different na hormones that are being produced. We have the secretin, the cholecystokinin, and then the gastric inhibitory protein or the GIP. So first one we have here the secretin which originates from the duodenum and ileum. So nalalabas ito kapag acidic ang chyme na galing sa stomach. Okay? So nailalabas lang ito if kapag acidic yung chyme na galing sa stomach. So natural na mataas ang acidity dahil sa gastric na hydrochloric acid kaya kailangan itong i-neutralize bago makarating sa mas distal part ng intestine para maiwasan yung irritation or yung ulceration. So kapag nailabas ang secretin, okay, kapag nailabas na ngayon yung secretin, ini-stimulate niya ngayon yung pancreas kaya na mag-secrete ng bicarbonate-rich fluid para i-buffer yung acidity. So, pinapabagal din ng secretin yung stomach motility at saka acid production para hindi sunod-sunod yung pagdating ng sobrang acidic chyme na possible na magdulot ng intestinal damage tsaka digestion overload. Okay, now, when it comes to the cholecystokinin or the CKK or the CKK na galing din sa duodenum at saka ileum, okay, ang stimulus dito is a fat at saka protein na naroroon doon sa chyme. So, dahil mas mabagal i-digest yung fat tsaka protein, kailangan ng tulong ngayon. Okay, kailangan niya ngayon ng tulong ng bile at saka pancreatic enzymes. Kaya ang CCK, siya ngayon ang nagpapalabas ng bile. Siya ngayon yung nag-simulate. Kasi if you would recall our discussion when it comes to the liver produces the bile and then the bile it is being stored in the gallbladder. However, it will just the bile will come out only from the gallbladder if there is a stimulation. So dito na papasok ngayon yung cholecystokinin. It stimulates here the bile, or it stimulates here the gallbladder to release the bile, okay? Or direct secretion mismo from the liver upang i-emulsify yung fats, habang sabay nitong pinapa-stimulate din yung pancreas para sa release ng digestive enzymes, like for example the lipase, the trypsin, and among others. So another role of the CCK is sa appetite regulation. Kaya habang full pa yung intestine ng digested feed particles na kailangan pang i-process, nababawasan yung feed intake or appetite para hindi mag-overload yung digestive system. So, if we would observe, or if we want to analyze this one, when it comes to the cholecystokinin, it's not only for the stimulation of the bile and the pancreatic secretions, but it also helps in reducing the feed intake of the animal. It's because of the appetite. Kasi parang dinidecrease niya yung appetite or yung feed intake ng animal para hindi ma-overload yung digestive system natin, more specifically ang duodenum. Now, when it comes to the gastric inhibitory protein, which is also originates on the duodenum, it is also stimulated by fat and bile and the lumen. So, ang main function nito when it comes to this one is i-stop niya, kaya inhibit niya yung stomach motility and bawasan yung secretion ng gastric and as yung gastric acid tsaka yung digestive enzymes. So, what is the possible reason for this one? Para mabigay ng tamang oras at saka pagkakataon yung small intestine na trabahuin niya yung kasalukuyang batch ng chyme bago ito madagdagan muli. So, dahil again, since ang mga fats ay medyo matagal na matunaw, so ang GIP siya yung nagsisilbing protective brake mechanism para panatiglihing maayos yung pacing ng digestion. So parang if we want to analyze again, ang cholecystokinin and then the gastric inhibitory protein, these two will merge and give their final na role when it comes to the inhibition, no? Inhibition of yung mga digestion processes or digestion activities ng intestine natin para hindi ma-overload yung activity. So, this is another na enzymes that are being produced for the pancreatic juice. We have here the amylase. It breaks down starch from the pancreas into maltose, the trypsin, okay, peptides, and then ang trypsin din ang nagko-convert ng chymotrypsinogen into chymotrypsin. So if there is already a chymotrypsin, si chymotrypsin, it breaks down proteins into peptides, yung lipase, fats and oils into fatty acids and monoglycerides. The carboxypeptidases, it breaks down peptides into amino acids, and then the nucleases, it breaks down DNA and RNA into nucleotides. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all components of the pancreatic juices. Now, meron din tayong tinatawag na brush border enzymes. Ito naman yung mga enzymes na nandoon sa mga intestinal linings ng small intestine. So, meron tayo dito, the enterokinase, it converts trypsinogen into trypsin, the peptidases, peptides to amino acids, the nucleosidases, nucleotides into nitrogen bases, pentoses, and phosphates, maltase, maltose to 2 glucose units, the sucrose into glucose and fructose, and then the lactase, lactose into glucose and galactose. Now, another na accessory organ for the digestion is the liver. So you already know that the liver is the main organ that produces the bile. So this is a digestive fluid na very important when it comes to the digestion and absorption ng fat. So kapag nailabas na ng liver, ang bile ngayon, it is being stored in the gallbladder hanggang sa kailangan na naman sa small intestine, lalo na sa duodenum kapag may pagkain na may fat content. Okay? So take note of that if there is a fat content that is being digested, okay, or there is a fat content from the chyme, na nandoon kanina sa stomach contents, then there should be a stimulation of the gallbladder for the bile to be excreted. Now, sa ilang species, ang bile daw kayang mag-concentrate hanggang 20 times para mas effective yung kanyang action sa fat digestion. So ang bile salts naman na galing sa cholesterol derivatives, may role din siya when it comes to the emulsification ng fats. Like, ibig sabihin, hinahati nila yung mga malalaking fat droplets sa mas maliliit na droplets na mas madaling ma-attack ng mga enzymes. So, with the help of these bile salts, na i-activate ngayon yung pancreatic lipase. So ano yung pancreatic lipase? This is an enzyme na nag-digest ng triglycerides sa fatty acids at glycerol. So aside from that one, nakakatulong din si bile na pabilisin, mapa-accelerate yung action ng pancreatic amylase kaya mas efficient yung carbohydrate digestion sa small intestine. Now, you already know that the small intestine has three parts: the duodenum, that is the active site of digestion; the jejunum, that is the active site of nutrient absorption, pero it has no distinct demarcation from either the duodenum or the ileum, and then the ileum, that is the caudal part. Okay, now, in the pigs, the small intestine, it is designed for maximum digestion and absorption, and a huge part of its efficiency comes from the microscopic structures located on the mucosal surface, which is called as the villi. Okay? Although you already know what is an arteriole. Okay, eto na yung sinasabi ko kanina na brush border, yung mga microvilli. Okay, you already know the arteriole, capillaries, nerve fiber, venule. So ang i-discuss ko na lang dito is we have the villi, the microvilli, yung lacteal, tsaka yung creep. Okay? So, let's start with the villi. So, ang mga villi, these are small nipple-like projections, or in some books, it is being called as finger-like. Okay? Finger-like projections na nag-extend from the mucosal lining of the small intestine. So, hindi sila basta simpleng protrusions. Kasi each vilus or villi increases yung absorptive surface area. Yun yung talagang main function ng mga villi. Ini-increase nila yung surface area ng small intestine para mas malawak, mas madami yung nutrients na ma-absorb. So the more villi you have, the more efficient the intestine becomes at absorbing the nutrients. So sa mga baboy, the jejunum has the longest and most numerous villi. Okay? Kaya nga, which is why it is the main site of nutrient absorption. So each villus contains a connective tissue with blood capillaries and a central lymphatic vessel surrounded by simple columnar epithelial cells known as the enterocytes. Okay? Ito, mga enterocytes dito. So habang dumadaan ang digested feed or yung chyme, these enterocytes will absorb the sugars, the amino acids, the different ions, and the small molecules, passing them directly into the capillaries. So, on the surface area ngayon of these enterocytes, we find the much smaller na structures, which are the brush border enzymes, or which are called as the microvilli. Kung ang villi ay parang malalaking fingers or daliri, ang microvilli naman parang microscopic bristles forming a brush border. So like eto, parang from the word itself, brush. So parang yung structure ng isang brush, ganun yung nangyayari when it comes to this microvilli. So these greatly multiply yung surface area. Parang surface area on top of a surface area. So, the microvilli also contain the brush border enzymes. Yung sinabi ko kanina, kaya nga it is a brush border. So, nandito ngayon yung mga enzymes that I have discussed a while back. So, we have the lactase, the maltase, the sucrase, the peptidases. Okay? So, eto na yung mga enzymes that finalize the digestion right at the epithelial surface. So, sa mga baboy, this brush border digestion, this is very important because the nutrients must be broken down into the smallest possible units before they can be transported into the enterocytes. Kasi dito rin naka-embed yung mga nutrient transporters responsible for bringing the glucose, the amino acids, and electrolytes into the cells. Now, at the center of every villus, okay, is yung tinatawag natin na lactil. Ano tong lactil? This is a specialized lymphatic vessel. So, sila yung responsible for the absorption of dietary fats, particularly yung mga long chain na fatty acids that cannot directly enter the blood capillaries. So, after the fats are broken down and reassembled into chylomicrons inside the enterocytes, these particles now enter the lacteals instead of the bloodstream. So from there, the fat moves through the lymphatic system before eventually merging into the circulatory system. So this mechanism is very important or is very essential sa mga baboy, especially because their diet, kaya ano ba yung diet nila? It includes fats from the grains and yung mga formulated feeds, lalong-lalo na yung mga commercialized feeds. Kaya necessary yung lactils para sa efficient na fat absorption. Now, deeper between the bases of the villi are yung tinatawag natin na intestinal crypts or also known as the crypts of Lieberkühn. Okay? So these crypts, ito yung mga invaginations of the mucosa that function as the production and renewal centers of the intestinal lining. So, meron silang mga stem cells that continuously divide para ma-replace yung mga old tsaka yung mga damaged na enterocytes. Remember that enterocytes on top of villi, meron lang silang short na lifespan. Roughly around 2 to 5 days. So constant regeneration is really needed from this one. So etong mga crypts na to, etong mga intestinal crypts na to, they also produce intestinal juices and they also house yung mga Paneth cells, okay, which release the antimicrobial substances like yung mga defensins, that is DEFENSIN, defensin, that could maintain the microbial balance. So, sa mga pigs, these crypts are active sites of cell turnover. Okay, para ma-allow yung intestine na mag-adapt sa mga dietary changes, sa mga stress, as well as mga microbial exposure. Kasi when pigs experience an enteric disease, like for example, the E. coli scars, okay, DJ pa nagdiarrhea iti baboy, ti piglets, is because of the E. coli. So, magiging hyperactive dagitoy crits. Okay, kasi as the body attempts to repair yung mga villus damage. Now, kapag natapos na yung mechanical at chemical digestion sa stomach, okay, at sa duodenum, halos lahat ng nutrients ay nasa pinaka-simple at absorbable form na. So yung mga sinasabi ko noon na absorbable form of the carbohydrates, the proteins, and then the lipids, eto na sila ngayon. Ngayon, habang dumadaan ang chyme sa jejunum at ileum, unti-unti nang sinisipsip ng villi ang nutrients. At ito ang mahalagang concept na kailangan ninyong maintindihan. Hindi pare-pareho ang ruta ng mga nutrients. Take note of this one. Hindi pare-pareho ang ruta ng mga nutrients. May mga nutrients na diretsong pumapasok sa bloodstream, habang yung mga iba naman gumagamit ng lymphatic system bago makarating sa bloodstream. Okay, so let's start with the bloodstream pathway. So most nutrients, like for example, the glucose and other simple sugars, the amino acids, the short chain fatty acids, the water-soluble vitamins, pati na rin yung mga minerals, pumapasok muna sa capillaries na nasa loob ng villi. So pag-absorb ng epithelial cells, dadaloy yung mga nutrients papunta sa mga capillary networks, and these will converge to form the hepatic portal vein. So, kapag sinabing hepatic portal vein, ibig sabihin lahat ng ito kailangan dumaan muna sa liver. Lagi kong sinasabi, ang liver ang quality control center ng katawan. Kahit anong nutrient na galing small intestine, kailangan muna mag-report. Kailangan niya munang mag-report sa liver para i-process, i-detoxify, i-store, or even i-redistribute. Kaya kung may sobra man na glucose, gagawin niyang, gagawin niyang glycogen. Kung may toxins, in-neutralize niya. Kung kailangan mag-regulate ng amino acids, siya na din yung bahala doon. So after ng liver processing, tsaka pa lang mapupunta sa systemic circulation at gagamitin ng iba't ibang tissues sa katawan. Ngayon, eto naman yung interesting part. Hindi lahat dumadaan sa portal vein. Okay, kasi baka that is your question. Hindi naman lahat dumadaan sa portal vein. Kapag fats ang pinag-uusapan, specifically yung mga long chain fatty acids, yung mga monoglycerides, and lahat ng mga fat-soluble vitamins, iba yung kanilang ruta. Okay? Pagpasok nila sa epithelial cells ng villi, hindi sila diretsong ihahalo sa bloodstream. Ang nangyayari dito, class, sa loob ng epithelial cells, ang fatty acids at monoglycerides synthesize into triglycerides. So, ibig sabihin, binubuo ulit sila bilang tatlong fatty acids na nakakabit sa glycerol. So, after nito, hindi pa sila satisfied dyan, binabalot pa sila into special transport particles which is called as the chylomicrons. Okay? Dahil malalaki yung mga chylomicrons, hindi sila kasya sa blood capillaries. Kaya saan sila dumadaan? Saan na ulit? When it comes from the previous discussion, sa lacteals, which are now the lymphatic capillaries found inside each villus. So dito na papasok ang lymphatic system. So imbes na diretso sa bloodstream, ang mga chylomicrons dumadaan muna sa lymphatic circulation. So iikot sila sa lymphatic vessels, sasama sa lymph fluid hanggang makarating sila sa thoracic duct, ang largest lymphatic vessel ng animal's body. So doon sila mag-empty going into the vena cava, and only then sila nag-enter sa bloodstream. Kaya ang fats sila yung may detour. Okay? Meron silang detour na ruta bago makarating sa general na circulation. So let's start with the first segment, the duodenum, the first segment. So kung i-trace natin ang pathway ng pagkain, galing siya sa stomach, specifically the pylorus, tapos diretso siya papasok sa duodenum. So dito nagsisimula yung transition from highly acidic gastric chyme papunta sa more neutral environment ng small intestine. Kaya ang duodenum ang parang adjustment chamber at saka chemical reaction hub ng digestive system. Sinasabi natin lagi na ang duodenum ang main site of food breakdown in the entire digestive system. Okay? Pero exit sa microbial fermentation na siyempre nangyayari sa mga ruminants. Bakit? Kasi dito, sabay-sabay pumapasok yung pinakamalalakas na digestive secretions ng body. So dito pumapasok ang bile at saka yung pancreatic juices. So nandito na lahat ng mga different enzymes. Now, another one, it is considered to be the chief site of digestion and the beginning of nutrient absorption. So hindi pa ito yung pinaka-heavy absorption tulad ng jejunum, pero dito nagsisimula yung actual uptake ng certain nutrients, lalo na yung madaling i-absorb, like for example, the simple sugars and certain minerals. So the lining of the duodenum also secretes yung intestinal juices which contain yung mga enzymes. Kaya tuloy-tuloy yung breakdown of nutrients hanggang sa microscopic level. Then next is the jejunum, the second and also the longest part of the small intestine. So hindi lang ito basta mahaba, several feet long. Okay? Kaya napakalaki yung contribution nito sa absorption. So kung ang duodenum ang chemical reaction chamber, ang jejunum naman ang main absorption powerhouse. So although digestion is still continuous here, the primary function of the jejunum is really the absorption of the end products of digestion. So dito ina-uptake ang karamihan ng mga glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins at saka minerals. So kung kulang ang jejunum, halos lahat ng nutrients mo magiging useless kahit gaano pa kaganda yung pagkain mo kasi wala silang mapapasukan. Okay? So isa pang another important, ang jejunum ay it is full of villi, as in millions of microscopic villi lining the entire mucosal surface. Okay? So, etong mga villi na to, they are increasing the absorptive surface area. So, imagine mo, kung flat lang ang jejunum, sobrang konti lang ng nutrients na kaya niyang i-absorb. Okay? Then we have the last segment. Sa mga maraming species, wala namang sharp boundary sa pagitan ng jejunum at ileum, pero may gradual changes in the structure and function. So, ang ileum ang nagdi-link papunta sa large intestine, specifically sa ileocecal junction. Although may absorption pa rin dito, hindi na siya kasing intense from the jejunum. So, pero importante pa rin, the ileum absorbs the vitamin B12, the bisols at lahat ng nutrients na hindi na-absorb ng jejunum. So, kung ano man ang leftover nutrients na from the jejunum, ang ileum ang humahabol dito. So, kapag hindi properly functional ang ileum ng animal, syempre magkakaroon ng deficiency, magkakaroon ng deficiency sa vitamin B12, sometimes watery diarrhea dahil hindi nare-reabsorb yung mga bile salts. Okay? Kaya it's very important ito, yung ileum. Now, sa large intestine ng adult pig, makikita natin ang isa sa longest na segments ng digestive tract, umaabot ng humigit kumulang 16 feet yung total length at saka may capacity na 2.5 gallons. So ito yung binubuo ng cecum at saka colon, and then it ends in the rectum at anus kung saan ilalabas yung feces. So kapag tinignan natin ang cecum ng matured na pig, mapapansin na hindi ito kasing haba kasi it's only 9.5 um, inches yung length, and then may capacity na around 0.5 gallons. Okay? Although kahit maliit, importante pa rin ito dahil dito pumapasok yung partially digested na material mula sa ileum. And dito nagkakaroon pa ng limited na microbial fermentation, lalo na ng mga fibrous components. Hindi man major site ng fermentation sa pig or sa mga baboy, tumutulong pa rin ito ng kaunti sa breakdown ng plant materials at pag-produce ng ilang VFAs. Then we have here the colon. So, 16 inches in length and then capacity na 2 gallons. So, dito din nangyayari yung pinaka-importanting process ng large intestine. So, habang dumadaan yung digesta sa colon, massive water absorption ang nagaganap. So, ito yung dahilan kung bakit unti-unting nagiging mass formed at solid ang fecal material. Kasi dito na siya nagkakaroon ng water absorption. So, bukod sa water, may reabsorption din ng electrolytes, like for example, the sodium and chloride. And then, after that one, yung rectum naman, siya na yung nagsisilbing final holding area bago yung defecation. So, wala silang villi dito for the large intestine. So, ibig sabihin, hindi tulad ng small intestine na design for massive absorption. Mas limitado yung absorptive surface area. So, dahil dito, restricted ang absorption at kung ano man ang na-absorb dito, mostly water, electrolytes at ilang nutrients lang na galing sa microbial activity. Okay? It is very important to know that no digestive enzymes are secreted in the large intestines. Kapag may nakita mang enzyme sa loob nito, siguradong leftover lang mula sa upper GI tract. Tulad ng sa pancreas at sa small intestine. O kaya naman ay gawa ng mga microorganisms na nandoon sa large intestine. Hindi trabaho ng colon ang mag-digest. Okay? Take note of this one. Hindi trabaho ng colon ang mag-digest. Ang trabaho nito is mag-recover ng water at i-finalize ang fecal material. Okay? Now, ang inside the large intestine, meron silang lining ng mucous glands at ang mucus na ito yung nagsisilbing lubricant para hindi magkaroon ng gasgas ang mucosa habang dumadaan ang digesta na unti-unting nagiging mas solid. So kung papasok ang material mula sa ileum, liquid pa ito. Okay? Sige na, Toy. The material that enters the large intestines is liquid. So liquid pa lang to. Habang pupunta na ngayon ito sa cecum at colon, nagsisimula na ang massive water absorption, pati electrolytes, yung mga sodium tsaka chloride, at tsaka ilang vitamins and minerals, and even with the VFAs na byproducts ng microbial fermentation. Kahit hindi fiber fermenter ang pig to the level of a ruminant, syempre may konting VFAs pa rin na produce at ina-absorb pa rin ito bilang energy source. Then, importante rin na hindi sterile, okay? Hindi sterile ang large intestine. Okay? Ang feces, it is composed ng about 50% bacteria by weight. Ibig sabihin, kalahati ng weight ng dumi or ng mga feces ay microorganisms. Either it is a living or it is dead. So ang mga bakterya na ito yung mahalagang, meron silang mahalagang contribution kasi may mga ilang species na gumagawa ng vitamins tulad ng certain na B vitamins kahit hindi naman fully na-absorb ang lahat. So ang pinaka-common na bacteria sa feces, it is the coliform bacteria, kilala bilang fecal bacteria, kasama din dito yung mga E. coli na bacteria. Okay, so ito yung mga pinaka-common. And last one, basically, ito yung process ng paglabas ng dumi, the defecation through the rectum. So ang trigger nito is something called as the defecation reflex. So basically, kapag puno na yung rectum ng feces, nag-i-stretch siya. And this stretching will send a signal sa spinal cord para ma-start yung peristaltic wave sa large intestine, which helps in pushing yung feces papunta doon sa rectum. Now, ang reflex na ito, it is supported by a parasympathetic nervous system. So, ito yung part ng nervous system na nag-i-intensify ng contractions ng large intestine para mas maayos yung movement ng feces. So, sometimes kailangan mo rin i-assist yung process through something what we call as the Valsalva maneuver, although I have already discussed this one. So ang gagawin mo lang, lalong-lalo na if you have a constipation, so you have deep breathing, you need to close yung glottis, i-flex yung abdominal muscles. Okay? Ganon, mas mataas yung pressure sa loob ng stomach, which helps na mapush yung uh, feces palabas. Okay, so this ends my discussion for the digestive system of the pig. So I will be having a separate discussion for the digestive system of chicken.